Welcome, my name is Greg Kruger. I'm the Weed Science and Application Technology Specialist at the West Central Research and Extension Center in North Platte with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Today I'm going to talk about why and how to clean a sprayer. And the first part of that, the why part, is really a good question. And taking time to clean our sprayer is really important because if we don't clean our sprayer properly, we risk the chance of contaminating the next field that we move into or the next crop that we move into. Studies have shown that as much as 15 gallons of product can still remain in the sprayer after we get done spraying and that tank is empty, just due to how much is sitting in the lines, the filters, and things like that. So making sure that we do a good job of cleaning out that sprayer is really important so that that 15 gallons doesn't get sprayed on the next crop that we move into and damage it. This is particularly true for non-traded crops. If we go into non-GMO crops, or if we go into specialty crops such as fruits and vegetables. Making sure that we get that sprayer cleaned is really important. In some of those crops we don't have any crop tolerances, so making sure that there's no residues remaining is really important so that we can actually market those crops. With that said, let's walk through the sprayer and talk about the different sprayer components and things to consider. So we're going to follow the chemicals through the sprayer, work back and forth from the front to the back of the sprayer. And so when we do that, we've got a sprayer here that's been winterized already. So we'll talk a little bit about what we've done here. So the first place we want to start is with the spray tank. The spray tank is where we add all of the chemicals. It's the first place that we could possibly get contamination. This is usually the place that everybody thinks about in terms of cleaning a sprayer, but do want to keep in mind that while it starts here, it doesn't necessarily end here. So with the sprayer tank, we want to make sure that we get everything washed down. Usually that means adding some fresh water to the tank. In some situations, we may want to add a tank cleaner or some ammonium sulfate or something like that to that tank to help make sure that we get all those residues off of the tank. Now, different tank types will require different levels of cleaning. For these poly tanks, these are ones that are more challenging. The residues tend to stick to the plastic a little bit better than or a little bit more than they would with a stainless steel tank. So we really got to make sure that we do a good job of cleaning these tanks down. Now from there, that spray solution is going to come down into a set of hoses. Those hoses are the second place that we want to consider in terms of cleaning that sprayer down. Making sure that we have plenty of water, fresh water, even after we've cleaned the tank, to flush those hoses is going to be really important. Now on most sprayers, there's some sort of a clean out valve. On this sprayer, it happens to be right here. You can see we've got a little banjo valve. There's an opening here, and that'll allow us to open the sprayer up and flush everything through. We can get the bulk of the pesticide that is remaining in the tank out that way without having to worry about washing that through the rest of the sprayer. Now, the other thing that you'll see on the back of the sprayer on this particular sprayer is our fresh water source. So this is a small tank that we have available to help wash down gloves, other parts, so that we don't contaminate either the sprayer itself or ourselves when we get done cleaning up. So there'll be some sort of a fresh water here. We can open it up and clean down anything that may have become contaminated during the process. All right, so here on the front of the sprayer, there's a couple things that we want to talk about in terms of making sure that we have good sprayer hygiene. First, you can see we've got a series of different hoses and stuff coming from the tank, recirculation valves, manifolds. We want to make sure that however the sprayer setup is, that we get all of these hoses and manifolds and stuff cleaned out well. The other thing that we want to do, and on this sprayer we have one filter setting here, screening that material as it comes in through the lines. But some sprayers can have as many as 7 to 9 different places where we're filtering that spray solution before it gets to the nozzle tip. But making sure that we pull these filters out, making sure that these screens are clean is really critical to making sure that we do a good job of cleaning down the sprayer. The next place of interest that we want to talk about on this sprayer is the pump. Every sprayer is going to have some sort of a pump or or some sort of a system to move that fluid from the tank to the lines. And we want to make sure that this isn't a point of contamination. Now, the last thing that we want to talk about is where the product finally ends up. So you can see there's a series of lines going out all the way to the end of the sprayer. On this particular sprayer, we've got a hood, so making sure that we get those lines flushed clear to the end of the boom, making sure that the screens at the nozzle tips are clean, and making sure that the hoods and stuff are washed down is really critical. Now, when we talk about washing down the sprayer, it's also important to keep in mind that we want to wash the tires and other parts of the sprayer. Those parts of the sprayer, other parts of the sprayer can collect residues as we're making applications. And for some products, this can become an issue. So making sure that that whole sprayer is washed down before we move into another crop or into a sensitive field is really critical, or as we're cleaning up for the end of the year. So keeping those things in mind that we just talked about, it's really important to make sure we do a good job of cleaning down that sprayer. As we talked about, it's really important, particularly when we're going into different crops, non-treated crops, non-GMO crops, or going into horticulture or specialty crops. Some of those crops that we talked about, like we said, don't have tolerances, so it's really important that we make sure we do a good job thoroughly cleaning the sprayer so that we don't have injury in whatever crop it is that we're going into next.